So you want to make a deck of cards with Component.Studio. Follow along and I'll show you how to make a simple prototype deck of cards in the system. We're going to start by creating a design that we're going to use to create a frame for our cards. And then we'll create a data set that'll contain all the information we need in the cards. Once that data set is created, we're going to go back to our design and make it so all that information in the data set shows up on our cards. On the Designs page, find the first available slot and enter your card name. In our case, it's going to be the event deck. Name your deck, select your component type. In this case, we'll stick with a standard poker deck, and press plus to create the deck. We'll use this screen to create the layout for our cards. We're only going to have 3 components on this card. We'll have the title, a line just below it, and then we'll have the text for the event. So the first thing we want is a text box. This text box is going to be for the event name. You can name the asset, decide its position and size, and enter the text we're going to use for it. For our placeholder, we're just going to put event name. Because it's our title, we're going to center it and make sure it's at the top, and we're going to want that bigger. So we'll change the size from 50 pixel to 200. Oh, that was way too big. Let's go ahead and lower that back down to 100. Once we're happy with the size, we can go ahead and minimize that. And now we need to create a line dividing it from the body of text for the event card. We can use a box for that. And with the box, we need to adjust the height so it appears as a line. Set the color to black. And we're going to use the Y coordinate to place it just below our event name. Go ahead and name the asset if you see fit, and minimize the box. Our third asset is going to be real simple. It's the text for the event. So we're going to need a new text box. Let's name that event text. Let's name that event text. We'll want to center it on the card and center it vertically as well. And replace the text with event text. Now, because this is a simple deck for a first prototype, we're not going to worry about adding colors and images to pretty it up. That can be done later, but we're keeping it simple for now. With our card laid out the way that we want it to, we can go ahead and go back, and now we're going to create that data set that we talked about. Scroll down to an available line, type the name, and use the plus to create it. Now a data set starts out blank, so we're going to add a row so you can see a little information here. A data set will contain all the information on your card. We start by default with a quantity field, which is how many copies of that card are in the deck. And we have a name field, which we're going to use for our event names. Now we're going to need one more column for the event text. So come down here, enter the column name, and press Add Column. We'll use the title event_text. You'll see a new column appears in the grid that we can enter data into. We'll enter the data that we want in that field for our full moon card. Now each row represents a unique card, so we're going to need to add some additional rows if we want more cards in this deck. Let's go ahead and throw a handful of those rows on. Now we can enter the names and the corresponding event text. Now we can adjust the quantity depending on how many duplicates we want in the deck. In this case, there'll be 2 full moon cards, 1 storm card, 4 high tide cards, 2 wildfires, and 1 cold night. With our dataset created, we can return to our designs and add in the variables. Find the correct deck in your designs list and go ahead and set the dataset to the one we just created. Go ahead and select this button to edit it. Now, we want the information that we just put into that dataset to appear in the event name and in the event text. To do that, we're going to use these component variables. Click on a variable to copy it to your clipboard. Now, wherever you paste that variable, the information in that column and row of your dataset will appear in place of it. That means it'll change depending on which card you're viewing. So let's replace the event name with the name variable. Component.Studio updates automatically, and we can see that Cold Night, the card we're currently viewing, is now displayed as our event name. Now to update the event text. So we'll copy the variable, open the event text box, and replace the text with the variable. Again, Component.Studio updates with the text we used in the dataset. You can scroll through the different cards on the list using the arrows, or select a card from the drop-down window. Go ahead and review your cards. From there, you'll be able to export them to the Game Crafter or print and play file. And that's all there is to creating a deck of cards. This was a very basic demonstration of how to make a deck of cards. You can later go back and use other features to add more dynamic layouts, text, and even images and colors to your cards. But if I'm making a new game, my first prototype usually looks pretty bare bones like this. If you go back, you can find more details of more features on the help page. And if there's anything else you'd like to see us cover, go ahead and leave a comment or send us an email. And with that, this is Andrew from Component.Studio. Thank you for watching and have a great day.